In the quiet, rugged landscapes of Kiwawe, Bukidnon, where the early morning mist rises slowly above the fields and the distant mountains cradle the horizon, the story of Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao begins. An origin so humble, so deeply woven into the soil of poverty, that it almost feels like a scene from a forgotten documentary reel. As the sun gently crept across the rooftops of wooden houses and the roosters crowed to greet another day, young Manny woke to the familiar sound of siblings stirring beside him, the tiny home trembling with the weight of a family struggling to survive. And he learned early that the world does not wait for the weak, shaping his childhood with the slow, grinding rhythm of hardship. His mother, Dionisia, worked tirelessly, stretching every peso into meals that were humble at best and scarce at worst, while his father, Rosalio, drifted in and out of their lives, leaving Manny with a growing sense of responsibility and a quiet ache that hardened into determination. He spent his days wandering dusty paths carved by bare feet, selling donuts, pan de sal, or anything he could carry, weaving through markets with the patience of someone who understood that every coin mattered, his small hands clutching trays as he walked under the punishing sun, dreaming not of glory yet, but simply of food, shelter, and a world where his family no longer had to worry about tomorrow. When his father left the family for good, the heartbreak cracked something inside him, but instead of breaking him, it pushed him toward an unexpected sanctuary, the small makeshift boxing corners of General Santos City, where boys with bruised knuckles and wide hopes gathered to trade swings for survival. In these cramped gyms, the sound of gloves hitting old tires and the smell of sweat hanging in the humid air became the backdrop of Manny's escape, his fists learning a language he would one day speak to the entire world. He trained methodically, almost spiritually, wrapping his hands with worn cloth, hitting bags suspended from rope, and absorbing lessons not from textbooks, but from beatings that taught him resilience, patience, and the art of controlling pain. The decision to leave home at 14, boarding a boat to Manila with barely enough money to eat, became the first great turning point in his life. The kind of moment documentary narrators describe with slow, deliberate weight. This was the crossroads, the moment the boy stepped into the unknown. Arriving in Manila, he found the capital unforgiving and immense, a maze of noise, traffic, and opportunity that always seemed just out of reach. And he slept on cardboard mats in cramped spaces, training at the L&M gym, fighting for tiny purses worth less than a full meal, yet refusing to give up, because the alternative, going home defeated, was unthinkable. Each small fight became a stepping stone, every victory an affirmation that maybe, just maybe, he was meant for something greater. And when he finally began winning regional titles, the boxing world sensed a new kind of energy, a small fighter with blistering speed, uncanny power, and an underdog hunger that could not be manufactured. As he entered the international stage, the aura around him began to shift, and broadcasters spoke his name with growing excitement. The Filipino kid with dynamite in his fists. His breakthrough came with ferocious clarity in 2001, when, as an unknown underdog, he demolished IBF super bantamweight champion Lalo Lidwaba, shocking the boxing world and announcing himself with the raw brilliance of a comet streaking across a dark sky. From that moment on, Manny Pacquiao's rise became a narrative of legend, a slow-burning chronicle told through sweat-soaked training camps, brutal sparring sessions, and nights when entire nations held their breath as he stepped into the ring. Guided by the steady hand of Coach Freddie Roach, Pacquiao's style evolved. His footwork sharpened, his combinations became poetry in motion. and his confidence soared as he conquered division after division, moving through weight classes the way some men move through chapters of a long and extraordinary life. He fought with ferocity, but also with heart, carrying the dreams of millions of Filipinos into every battle. And as he toppled icons, Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez, Oscar de la Hoya, Ricky Hatton, his legend grew not just as a boxer, but as a symbol of what a person can become when desperation merges with destiny. Yet through every triumph, through every global headline, through every roar of massive arenas, Manny remained grounded by the echo of his origins, the tiny home in Kiwawe, the empty plates, the childhood struggles that shaped him into a champion of both fists and spirit. He built homes for the poor, funded scholarships, launched medical missions, and used his fame not as a throne, but as a tool, returning again and again to the people whose stories mirrored his own. When he entered public service, his life shifted yet again, and the same determination that fueled his rise in boxing became the engine driving his political journey, serving the poor with the zeal of someone who remembered vividly what it felt like to have nothing. And so, Manny Pacquiao stands today not just as an 8-division world champion, not just as a sports icon, and not just as a public servant, but as the embodiment of a universal truth, that from the simplest beginnings can emerge the most extraordinary stories, and that within a boy who once sold donuts barefoot in the streets of Mindanao lay the power to inspire nations, transcend borders, and leave behind a legacy that will echo for generations.